Hello students, today we shall start with a chapter 12, that is electricity. So in this chapter we shall cover the topics electric current and circuit, potential difference, Ohm's law, resistance and resistivity. So students, first of all have a look at electricity. So what is electricity? How can we define it? So electricity is the flow of charge or electrons in a circuit through a conducting material, that is a metallic wire or an electrolyte solution. So in a simple way we can define electricity as it has played a vital role in our lives, and it has made our lives so easy. So if we want to do some work, then we have just to press a switch. Okay, if we press a switch, then bulb glows on, and if we are feeling hot, then a cooler or an AC is just a switch away. We just press the switch and we feel comfortable in a hot day. So likewise, in many ways these electrical gadgets have made our life so easy and so comfortable. So students, here is a simple electric circuit where there is a switch, a battery is connected here, and a bulb is here. So the wire is of a conducting material, that is of a metal, and this is a simple electric circuit. When we switch it on, then the bulb starts glowing, and when we switch it off, then bulb switches off. Okay, so here are two circuit diagrams with open and closed switches. So in the first one, it is an open switch circuit diagram where the key is in off position and the bulb is not glowing. Whereas in second circuit, it is a closed switch circuit where the key is closed, and it means current is flowing in the circuit and the bulb is glowing. So children, how can we define an electric charge? So an electric charge is the physical property of matter. As you all know, all matter around us is composed of atoms, and the atoms are composed of these electrons, protons and neutrons. Whereas these electrons contain negative charge, and these protons contain positive charge, and neutrons, they are having no charge or they are neutral in nature. So there are two types of basically if we talk about charges, then there are two types of electric charges, positive and negative. So these positive charges are carried by protons, and negative charges are carried by electrons. So two like charges will repel each other and unlike charges will attract each other. So if we talk about two like charges, for example, two positive charges, they will repel each other. It means they will move away from each other. Likewise, two negative charges, they are also like charges, so they will also move away from each other. And two unlike charges, that is a positive charge and a negative charge, they will attract each other. It means they will come closer to each other. So the SI unit of charge is the coulomb. It is represented by capital C. So more about electric charge. So electric charge, it is represented by capital Q. So charge on one electron is assumed as -1 e. So that is 1 e equals to 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. So if we calculate the number of electrons in 1 coulomb of charge, then formula will be Q equals to Ne, where Q is the charge and N is number of electrons and E is charge on one electron. So if we want to calculate N, that is number of electrons, then N equals to Q upon E, or number of electrons in 1 coulomb of charge. Then we place the value of Q and E. Q will be 1 here, that is we are taking 1 coulomb of charge, and E, that is charge on 1 electron, 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. So number of electrons come out to be 6.25 into 10 raised to power 18 electrons, or for simplicity we can write it as 6 into 10 raised to power 18 electrons. It is the number of electrons that are present in 1 coulomb of charge. Now if we talk about the types of electricity, then electricity is of two types, that is static electricity and current electricity. When we talk about static electricity, as we have seen the instances where when we comb our dry hair with a comb, then our hair fall apart, or they move away from comb, that is they develop charge. So such charge is does not move anywhere, it remains accumulated at a place, or it is such type of electricity is called static electricity. Now second is current electricity. So in this type of electricity there is movement of charges through a conductor, whether it is a metallic wire or it is an electrolyte solution. So in this chapter we shall study about current electricity. Now what is electric current? So it is the amount of charge flowing through a particular area in unit time, or it is the flow of charge per unit time. So if we take the net charge as capital Q, which flows across any cross section of a conductor in time t, then the current I, that is it is represented by capital I, then this current through the cross section will be I equals to Q upon T, that is current equals to charge upon time. So the SI unit of electric current is ampere. It is represented by capital A. If we define 1 ampere, then 1 ampere is equal to the flow of 1 coulomb of charge in 1 second. That is 1 A equals to 1 C upon 1 second. That is, as we have seen earlier also, that is I equals to Q upon T. So small quantities of current are expressed in milliampere and microampere, where 1 milliampere equals to 10 raised to power minus 3 ampere, and 1 microampere equals 10 raised to power minus 6 ampere. So current is measured by a device called ammeter. An ammeter is always connected in series in a circuit where we want to measure the flow of current. So here the picture of ammeter is given, where this is connected in series in the circuit. So this positive side of meter it is, must be connected nearest to the positive terminal of the battery, or this positive side of the meter is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and negative side of this ammeter is connected to the negative terminal of the battery or cell. Now this is an electric circuit with an ammeter. As we are seeing here is a bulb. We are seeing an ammeter is seeing which is connected in series. Key is this battery is shown here, and key is also there, and this current is flowing from this positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal, and this positive end of this ammeter is connected to the positive end of battery, and negative end of this ammeter is connected to the negative end of battery. Now next is electric potential difference, which is represented by capital V. So what is potential difference or electric potential difference? So it is the work done to move a unit charge from one point to another in a circuit. So electric potential difference, symbolically we can present it as V equals to W upon Q, where W is work done and Q is the charge. So SI unit of electric potential difference is volt. It is represented by capital V. So 1 volt equals to, when 1 joule of work is done in carrying 1 coulomb of charge, then potential difference is called 1 volt. A cell or a battery are the devices to maintain electric potential difference in a circuit. So potential difference is measured by an instrument called voltmeter. To understand what is electric potential difference that is created by a cell or a battery, we have taken two setups here, setup A and setup B. As we are seeing the level of water in setup A, it is having two containers, and this level of water in both the containers, so this level of water is this much, that is there is a very less difference in the level of water in both the containers, whereas in setup B the level of water, it is having much more difference in the two containers. So in which case the flow of water will be more from first container to the second container, that is in case 1, or in setup A or in setup B. Obviously the flow of water from one container to the second container will be more in case of setup B as compared to setup A. So this is the case with potential difference which is created by a cell or a battery. The positive terminal of the cell or a battery, it is having more potential electric potential as compared to the negative terminal of the cell. So this negative terminal of the cell, it repels the electrons in a conductor. As a conductor is composed of electrons, so electrons are negatively charged, so this negative terminal of the battery repels the electrons, and this positive terminal of the battery, it attracts the electron, so it causes movement of electrons, thus flow of electric charge occurs. So voltmeter is a device that is used to record the potential difference in a circuit. So it has a high resistance. It is always connected in parallel across the points between which the potential difference is to be measured. So a voltmeter has a high resistance. Current always flows from higher potential to lower potential, that is from positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal of the battery, and the flow of electrons is from this negative terminal of the battery to the positive terminal of the battery. So both these are in opposite direction. Now here is a picture shown in which a voltmeter is connected in parallel to the cell here, or an electric appliance. If it is connected in the circuit, then the voltmeter is connected in parallel to the electric appliance or the battery or the cell here. This voltmeter may be connected here also, like this. It may be connected like this also, that is, it may be connected below or above in both the positions. So now here are some of the symbols of some commonly used components in circuit diagrams. As we draw circuit diagrams for our ease, so these are the symbols. An electric cell is shown by a bigger line and a smaller line. This bigger line presents the positive terminal, and this smaller line represents the negative terminal. Similarly, a battery is a combination of two or more cells, so it is shown like this. Now a plug key or a switch, it is in open position, and below it is in this plug or switch is in closed position. Wire or joint is shown like this, which is shown in the picture, and these are the some more symbols that are used in electric circuits. Now next is the Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? The potential difference V across the ends of a given metallic wire in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided its temperature remains the same. That is, V or potential difference is directly proportional to I, or the current flowing through the two ends of a given metallic wire. That is, or we can write V upon I equals to constant. So this constant is R, that is resistance of a conductor, or we can write V equals to IR. So to understand this Ohm's law, again we have setup two setup, that is setup A and setup B, and both are having difference in levels of liquid filled in the two containers here. So here the flow of water from container 1 to container 2 in setup A and in setup B will be different, and it depends on the level of liquids filled in both the containers. So same is the case with the potential difference. So this level of water, we can assume it as potential difference. So this potential difference is less in setup A as compared to setup B, or we can write V. If V will increase, I will also increase. That is, here level of water is increased, and this flow of water from one container to second container will also increase. And if V will decrease, I will also decrease. So this is the relation between V and I, or we can write here V is directly proportional to I. By removing the sign of proportional here, we can write V equals to IR, where R is the proportionality constant here, which is called resistance of the metallic wire. So this is Ohm's law. That is, if V will increase, I will also increase, and if V will decrease, that is potential difference will decrease, I will also decrease. So here is the graphical representation of Ohm's law. As V and I both are directly proportional to each other, if we plot this potential difference V on y-axis and current A on x-axis, then the graph goes like this. It goes in the form of a straight line here. Okay. Now next is the resistance. What is resistance? It is the property of a conductor to resist the flow of charge, that it doesn't allow a conductor to let the charge flow through it, or it resists the obstructs the flow of charge. As we have seen its mathematical representation in Ohm's law also. So V equals to IR, if or we can write as R equals to V upon I. So its SI unit is ohm. SI unit of resistance is ohm. If the potential difference across the two ends of a conductor is 1 volt, then the current through it is 1 ampere. Then the resistance R of the conductor will be 1 ohm. So this is how we can define ohm. 1 ohm equals to 1 volt upon 1 ampere. Now next is the rheostat. What is a rheostat? It is an electronic device which is used to control the current by varying the resistance. So by varying the resistance, it controls the current flowing through an electronic device. So this resistance of a conductor depends on these factors. It is directly proportional to the length of conductor. Suppose we take a conductor. Suppose this is a conductor of cross section A here. So this is the cross section of a conductor, and this is the length L of the conductor. So mathematically we can write as R equals to, R is directly proportional to length of the conductor, and R is inversely proportional to cross section area of the conductor. Or we can write as R equals to rho L upon A, where rho is the proportionality constant called electrical resistivity of the material of the conductor. So this resistance also depends on the nature of the material of which the conductor is formed or made up of. Now what is electrical resistivity or rho? It is a constant, and it is the fundamental property of material that resists the flow of electric current. that it doesn't allow the current to pass through a conducting material. Its SI unit is ohm meter. So how can we derive the unit of this resistivity? We can derive it as we have seen in last slide, R equals to rho L upon A, or we can write rho equals to RA upon L. By putting the units of all these, R is ohm, and for cross section, area of cross section, unit will be meter square, and L will be, if L we take in meter, then the unit comes out to be ohm meter. So this is the unit for resistivity. So range of resistivity of metals and alloys is 10 raised to power minus 8 to 10 raised to power minus 6 ohm meter. That is, these metals and alloy resist the current very less, in very less amount. The range of resistivity of non-metals and insulators is much more, that is 10 raised to power 10 to 10 raised to power 17 ohm meter. That is, they do not let the current pass through them. So metals like copper and aluminum are used for electrical transmission as they have very low resistivity, or they offer very less resistivity to the flow of electric current. Alloys are used in electrical devices as their resistivity is high and they do not burn readily at high temperature. So that's why alloys are used in heating electrical devices, just like this toasters and all these heaters. Now here is a table showing the electrical resistivity of some substances at 20 degrees Celsius. So here conductors are given, like silver. Its resistivity is very less, that is 1.60 into 10 raised to the minus 8 ohm meter. It is a very good conductor. In fact, it is the best conductor among the metals. Next is copper, then aluminium, tungsten, nickel, iron, chromium, mercury and manganese. So this resistivity keeps on increasing here. Now alloys, Constantan, it is having resistivity of 49 into 10 raised to power minus 6 ohm meter. Then manganese, nichrome, so they are having resistivity more than that of metals. Now next come the insulators, glass, hard rubber, ebonite, diamond, paper. So they are having more resistivity as compared to metals and alloys. So this was all about today's topics. Thank you and have a nice day.